Hello everyone, it's Forsaken, aka Yacine, and today we are once again going straight to the point, how to play and become good at Sonic.EXE. This tutorial has been made for PC players, but most of the things covered in this video can be applied to mobile and console. I must quickly give a shout out to FreezyIsTrue. I did not know that he made a tutorial video on Sonic.EXE, and I apologize in advance for the eerie similarities between his and my video. His channel and video are linked in the description. Sonic.exe is the most versatile exe in terms of abilities, having a total of 7 abilities, although 2 of them can be used unless another specific one is in use. This makes Sonic.exe arguably the hardest exe to play properly, since a new exe player will struggle a lot with putting his abilities to good use. His kit is made up of the spin dash, his basic attack, the invisibility, the decoys, and the teleport. These abilities make him the most mobile exe available. The most mobile exe if the metric is a whole round and not a specific moment, else Tails all wins. On screen I have a tier list of Sonic.exe's abilities ranked in different categories. In mobility we have spin dash and the teleport. Teleport is self-explanatory, but the spin dash is a bit less obvious since it can also do damage. The amount of damage it does per hit is very minimal, but a very good finish off low HP survivors. We will learn more about that in the upcoming chapters. In the utility section we have the invisibility, the decoys, and the indicator. Here's the invisibility when you are hidden. Then you want to avoid using all 4 of your decoys. Space out the uses of your decoys and try to act like one, but more on that later. As for the indicator, you don't get to use it, at least not really. It activates 30 seconds after using the invisibility, meaning 2 of your abilities are gate-kept by another, forcing you to go invisible only when you know you'll be able to make the most of both your invis and your indicator. When you are Sonic.exe, you want to be the most aggressive player possible. Do not, under any circumstances, fall back in some way. Always fight, no need to wait for your cooldowns. You are the fastest of EXEs, both in base speed and attack speed, meaning you usually are able to rush down every survivors and mow them down very fast. To maximize your DPS, or damage per second, you want to be as close to the survivors you're attacking at all time. Since you won't have to hold to land a hit, the only thing limiting your damage output is going to be invincibility frames. I'll give you a way to know when the post-hit iframes come to an end depending on the situation, as they vary depending on if the survivor gets hit with no overheal, with overheal, or when they get revived later in the video. The easiest way to get a player from 100 to 0 is to hit that survivor twice with your basic attack and then follow up with 2 spin dash hits. This works best if you make sure that the survivors has used all of their stun abilities so they can stop your spin dash. If that spin dash isn't enough to get the survivor dead, at least try to get close enough to the survivor to land a regular hit. Your TPs are very important to your success. What you want to do is to usually place 2 of your TPs around choke points or very common areas for survivors and you to be at. To make your decoys effective, what you want to do is to create 2 to 3 decoys and act as if you were the 4th one. People will believe that you use all of your decoys, so they won't think that you're the real one and will be waiting for a 5th one. You can adapt this strategy depending on the player. If you notice that a particular player has been spotting you easily, lower the amount of decoys you create to throw them off. Avoid putting all 4 decoys down, since experienced players will know that the 5th one will be the real one. Remember that if a survivor tries to attack a decoy, it'll make it disappear and you'll have the ability to put one down again. Tails is a long-range stunner and a mobility character. He is at his strongest when far away from you, so he can stun you without losing any HP. To play around his strengths, you want to use your invisibility to reach him unnoticed, and use the decoy strategy that I explained earlier to confuse him. Tails tend to get very easily overwhelmed, so use that to your advantage. He is also the easiest stunner to dodge since he relies on tracking you and predicting your movement to hit his arm cannon stun. Run and jump around to throw off his aim, then rush him down once he's shot. If you can reach him before he shoots, feel free to attack him since he is heavily slowed down when ready to shoot. If he flies away, you have 2 options. Give up the chase and attack another survivor, or keep up the chase and wait for him to land to continue attacking. Look at your surroundings. If you see a survivor that is close enough, go chase them. If Tails doesn't have any support, wait for him to land and kill him.
The cuss word of the day is skibbity f***.
Knuckles is the brute of the team alongside Metal Sonic. He wants you dead whenever he has his punch ready to be used. He is also one of the 2 characters that can simply deny one of your attacks. To deal with a decent Knuckles, you want to do one simple thing: bait him into using his abilities. Knuckles players are usually simple-minded. They will act as if they flee from you and then punch you. To make that strategy harder to work, you can run up to them, then go back a bit at random intervals. If done correctly, this will make him believe that he can actually land his punch, effectively reducing his offensive abilities to 0. To bait out his block, you usually just want to make sure that he uses his punch so he becomes defenseless. Then you can just act as if you're gonna land an attack on them, and suddenly go to the side to miss on purpose, forcing him to use his block. They can now freely attack Knuckles, unless he has some threatening support.
I come to make an announcement. Shadow the Hedgehog's a bitch-ass motherfucker.
Despite him being usually seen as a joke, Eggman will be one, if not your, biggest counter, alongside another character that we'll go over later. He has two things in his kit that make him a genuine threat to your victory, these being his turrets and his zapper. They have one thing in common, and it's that they slow you down. Basically, Eggman is the only character that can outright take away what makes you a threat in the first place, that being your base speed. The speed debuff of the zapper applies even when you spin dash. Not the turrets though, but they are still threatening, because Eggman can put down 5 of these in strategic areas and they slow you down pretty bad. To deal with Eggman, you want to destroy any turrets in your line of sight, and once there is not any left, go for the kill. Eggman is a support character and can't last very long in a one-on-one encounter, and if he misses his zapper shot, he's pretty much a free kill. The most versatile stunner of the team, Amy is here to hit chain stunts on you. She comes with a very potent hammer hit, a powerful throw ability, a perfect all-rounder in the form of the hammer spin, and an escape plan in the form of the dash. You really can't find a flaw, so you just have to apply what you learned in Knuckles section, minus the how to bait the block part. They are both melee stunners, so baiting out her abilities is the best way to go. The heart of the team is in the biggest of threats, but what's threatening about her is what she can do to her teammates that end up having an additional 150 HP, though hitting an overheal survivor doesn't give them any speed boost, meaning you can simply chain hits after hits if the survivor can stun you. Cream by herself is not the hardest character to kill, she needs to be supported to be efficient. Just like any character that have a mobility tool, you can make a choice when Cream escapes, either giving up the chase to focus easier targets or keep up the chase if she really is alone. Note that the speed she gains from her ability is huge and she will outrun you. This is one of the moments where using your spin dash as a mobility tool is very useful, so make the most out of it. Sally is one of the best defense characters in the entire game. She has the ability to shield herself and shield the teammates, as well as giving buffs that come with these shields. One can make her gain a lot of momentum forward to escape you, one allow her to jump super high to trick you, while the last one allows her to gain extra speed and iframes. She's an important target to get rid of early game, especially if she's a very decent one. To get Sal down, your best bet is going to be surprise attacks. Do not give her time to shield herself or others. If you see that Sally has used her shields, try to find her to deal damage to her or even kill her. You can use audio cues to know if a shield broke, so here are all of these. The ultimate life form, as some people may call him, is the most mobile survivor in the game alongside Cream. Depending on what type of shadow player you're going up against, he can either be a full mobility character or a pure offense character. Sometimes even a hybrid of both. To kill a shadow easily, you sadly won't be able to really bait him into using his abilities, as they are for the most part rather easy to aim and hit. However, if he happens to be on cooldown with no support, he's completely defenseless. Cherry on top, he has some of the longest cooldowns in the game, so you have plenty of time to kill him after he uses his abilities. Alongside Eggman, Rouge will be your hardest counter for a single reason. A good Rouge player is single-handedly able to make your invisibility worthless. Her sensors can still be triggered when you're invisible, in which case the whole going invisible thing doesn't work at all. Rouge can also blind you for several seconds and have a trap that she can use to push you away if you happen to walk straight into it. The best way to get rid of Rouge is to go after her in the early game, since you won't have a lot of sensors down. Be wary of springs though, since a good Rouge player will put sensors inside of the springs to know where her teammates and you are. Rouge by herself is a vulnerable character, and a one-on-one encounter with her is not very hard.
I am the real Sonic!
A less demonic doppelganger with a focus on taking out his fleshy counterpart. Sure enough, this guy is here to ruin you at all times. He's the toughest character in the entire game with a health pool of 150 base HP. Both of his abilities can force you away from easy kills. He takes 4 hits to kill, and if you hit him once and he gets overhealed by your cream, he comes back with 255 HP to take you on. Metal is no joke, and you need to be on high alert at all times to avoid getting literally bullied, since he tends to usually bring you to those stunners that will have a field day chain stunning you. To deal with a talented metal player, you have to wait for him to be on cooldown, then chain hits on him to drain his HP. He doesn't really have a counterplay in this matchup, but being the EXE already gives you an advantage. Silver, as a support character, wouldn't be a threat by himself but will be threatening because of what he can do for his team. His speed radius ability is basically a nerf to your overall base movement speed, which as we have seen in Eggman's section, hurts you pretty bad. But unlike Eggman, Silver cannot influence your base movement speed directly, he can only make it less effective, meaning you run just as fast, they just run faster than you usually would. Blaze is a mobility and offense character. You have the EXE that is the most capable of outplaying her, move out of the way of her heat wave and dodge her fire tornado. Be aware that a decent Blaze player will try and catch you off guard if they notice that you are outplaying them. To kill Blaze, you want to dodge her abilities, either by running, taking springs, or using your spin dash to go around the heat wave, for example. Be wary that the heat wave's hitbox is huge, so try and make sure that you are visibly far away from the heat wave. This is the part of the video where you learn about various tips and tricks that you can use to make your life easier. Early game, unless you're playing on the map not perfect, use your invisibility as soon as you spawn in to get access to the indicator. The invisibility should last long enough for you to reach the survivors and have just enough time to make a few decoys to try and trick them. The reason that you don't want to use it when you spawn in on not perfect is because this map is very open and you pretty much see everything. Cherry on top, the spawn areas for both the EXEs and survivors are very predictable, so use your spin dash as a mobility tool. When chasing characters that can easily juke you, such as Sally and Tails, what you want to do is that you set a TP before acting like you got juked, and when they think you have fallen to their juke and they back up to the platform where they were on, TP back up to surprise them. They won't have their mobility abilities anymore, which means you can attack them without them fleeing. You can try to make survivors use their jump. Because of a pretty long cooldown between a jump and another, it's going to be the best moment to hit your attacks on the survivors, since they won't be able to dodge this easily. Be aware that the heatwave's hitbox is huge. Be wary that the heatwaves hit.